So I've had a haircut and I'm struggling to get used to how I look now. Hey guys, welcome to this piece of shit I call a worst to best rank of all of the Walking Dead seasons so far. So this is a video I've been meaning to do for a very long time now. I think I've got a lot of opinions to say about each season of The Walking Dead. Now this is a very controversial and opinionated question. See, every fan of The Walking Dead has their own favourite season and these are just mine. So if you have other views of what you think is the worst season or the best season, don't tell me I'm wrong. Just try remembering that it's my opinion. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. It'd also be appreciated if you leave a comment suggesting any other videos I should make. Okay, so I'm pretty much ready now. I've got all of the box sets apart from season 6, so I'll probably hold them up when I get to that part in the rank. My opinion of the worst season of Walking Dead is season 3. Now to some people season 3 is a huge season. It's a really good example of how the humans are more of a threat to zombies, but I feel like the people who direct and write about The Walking Dead, they didn't execute it properly. Although the season has some of the best episodes we've ever seen, such as Killer Within. Now season 3 does have its advantages with characters being introduced such as Michonne, the reintroduction of Mo, the governor coming into this whole thing. Michonne had the whole closed off, serious, suspicious look all the time. It's only until like the seasons 4 to 6 that I've truly really liked her. My main frustration with the season was Woodbury. I really didn't care about any of the characters, including Andrea. I feel like I didn't care about her nearly as much as I did in season 2 and 1. Another thing was the finale. The season 3 spent episodes preparing for this huge battle between Woodbury and the prison. Much like the comics, it was an epic whole battle, but in the end they just threw a couple flashbangs shot into the air to scare them away, and that's what happened, and then the governor just killed them all, and that was just, it just felt so anticlimactic, and all of the Woodbury characters just felt very off to me, as if they were trying to make me care about them, but I just didn't in any way. Woodbury as a whole were basically red shirts, but still Andrea had so many chances to put things right, just killing the governor in his sleep, leaving when she found out what the governor was up to and really like, but she kept coming back to him and until it was too late, and then it got her killed. Another thing I really did like about the season, however, was Rick, completely new side to him, acting mad. That one moment where he drives a machete into Tobin, that just felt as though it's a new side of Rick where he's like getting to the brink of losing the humanity they've had in seasons 1 and 2. And it's also nice to mention the fact that Carol is showing the beginning stages as she acts now with the whole dark side of her. We would have seen it more in the deleted scene where she says to Mo, "I'll cut your throat in your sleep," but we got a sort of hint from that when she said to Andrea, "Kill the governor in his sleep." So at that point it felt a bit out of character, but since we've been seeing her later on, it just makes perfect sense and is a bit of foreshadowing to the darkness she has right now. Okay, now this is a bit of a controversial placement. I'm going to have to put season 6 as second worst for this list. The reason being, again, there were some episodes that were just incredible. The first 2 episodes, amazing. The whole second half until the finale, that was just insane. All of these frequent action sequences, the introduction of Jesus, it just felt so good. And also they explored other ways of showing that episode, like the whole episode with Jesus, it felt so funny, which is completely new for Walking Dead. And episode 1 of The Walking Dead, it had those black and white transitions to flashbacks. It just felt kind of experimental artistically. But what season 6 lacked was consistency. There were some terrible episodes, and I mean really bad, like cringeworthy. And most of these episodes were around Alexandria, and we had to focus more on Jesse's sons. Jesse had to do this really cringeworthy speech at one point. And that's another thing, like at least one time in every episode someone has to be talking about like how this is the way they've got to live now. And I'm just like, let Rick do those speeches every half season. I'd prefer just that. Not everyone has to tell me why they've lost their humanity now and this is how it's got to be. Another major frustration with this season was the fake outs. So a huge example of this was Glenn being killed and he actually hides under the dumpster. It felt so unrealistic to me that a main character would survive that, because you have to think into perspective. If this was a real person who's trying to survive this moment, how could he have done that? And if he fell, with Nicholas above him, I'm sure the zombies would have bitten into his feet or his head. They bite everywhere. In season 2 they bit into this guy's face at one point. So I guess that one was okay, but it got to a point where there were so many fake outs over the season that it was just so hard to believe that this is meant to be a realistic portrayal of how humans adapt to a zombie apocalypse. Obviously it goes with saying about the cliffhanger. I was pretty pissed off about that, because before then the episodes were kind of good. The penultimate episodes were a bit like hit or miss for me. They completely just screwed it up with the finale. Apparently they had to make it that way to make the next episode just as good. But at that point I just felt it was a reach for viewership. They know how much people care about the characters, and they're just aiming for the high ratings on TV right now. And there was also the factor that there were subplots that didn't actually matter at all. There was the whole Jesse-Rick romance, which was completely forgotten about the episode after she was killed. I want Walking Dead to realise that in the first few seasons they wanted it to not be about the zombies, but I feel like these episodes are all either about the zombies or the enemy, and I just find it a bit repetitive in a way. Okay, so next on the list, which is third worst, fourth best, however you put it, is season 2. Now I think season 2 gets an unfair amount of criticism, particularly around the slowness of the whole thing. So they're all in the farm, that whole really dragged out subplot of Sophia. But I think that's a bit unfair in a way, because around these points they felt so much more human and realistic and believable, especially in the moments where Rick's son gets shot. The whole shock of Rick when he carries his son out, and then like that horrible sad moment when he just like wipes his head and he's got blood on. Yeah, it's those sort of moments that made season 2 more of a believable thing than season 6 maybe. Another thing season 2 has is incredibly moving deaths. So Sophia, Shane, Dale, I think I cried in all of those. They just felt such a major thing for all of the characters. It made you think, what would this do for to progress this particular character? But now with later seasons, it's got to a point where someone dies and then they have the momentary shock and they're just looking at them getting bit or whatever, and then they just move on the next episode, and then they may refer to that person, but it has no long-term character change because they're so hardened up already. And I cared about all the characters, and it's nowhere near the scale of characters there are now in season 6, where survivors, and if someone dies you just sort of, who was that again? Okay, so number 3 as the best season for me is season 4. I've got a nice dinky book sort of style DVD case for this one. I think this one felt like a completely new direction, along with some of the best episodes we've ever seen. So the governor taking down the prison, Carol look at the flowers, and it also left you thinking about what could be considered the correct decision for that point in survival. So when Carol killed Karen and David, would you do that? Is that going over the edge? And it raised some major questions about humanity at that point. I also loved the characters in this season. Maybe not the weaker characters like Beth, but characters such as the newly introduced Abraham, Rosita, Eugene. I think all of these people added something to the episodes they were in. I think my downside about the season was that character-centric episode with Beth and Daryl. That completely felt unnecessary and didn't drive the plot anywhere, unless you think about the burning building which had the child walkers chasing Lizzie and Mika. And there was also those 2 episodes with the governor, and while I think they were great episodes, in comparison to the 3 or 4 episodes beforehand, which were completely epic in every way, these 2 felt reductive and just kind of throwing us away from the current events and more like something we're not really that keen in wanting to see. And as another cliffhanger example, they did a great final episode with the whole Rick's gang, and the fact that they're all in the crate, it makes you wonder what's going to happen next. How are they going to get in? How are they going to get out of this? Okay, so my second best season is Walking Dead Season 1, the original season. Now, I think I'm very generous in placing this second best, but what this season has that none of the others do is consistency. All 6 episodes for me are spot on. They feel realistic, they feel so believable, they're extremely well acted. These characters obviously weren't great at surviving at this point, but it was lovely to want them to survive and to keep track of where they are right now. And the season as a whole, I feel like blended the whole zombies with drama very well, because they had a huge point. There's a huge point to make that the zombies aren't the main priority in the show. It's about the humans. So it was good to have the drama. It was good to have the drama to the side with the zombies. So the zombies keep it interesting, and the drama is what their main goal was. Each episode, I didn't feel like anything dragged out. I felt like it all had its good time, screen time share in every episode. There were some really heartfelt moments, such as when Andrea was hugging Amy when she was being killed and stuff. Their relationship was incredible, and the whole reunion with Laurie, Carl and Rick, that was... I think Andrew Lincoln is just incredible at acting as Rick. So for me, my favourite season is Season 5. And for me, this is a no-brainer. It has everything packed into this one season. So it has everything from Terminus to the short but epic encounter with the Hunters. It has all of these subplots going with different split-up groups of The Walking Dead. And then it goes straight on to Alexandria, like this amazing backdrop for the comics. The characters were consistently amazing to watch. Carol in particular, along with Rick. And while Season 1 was very consistent, I thought Season 5 was very near consistent with all the episodes. The Beth subplot, I didn't care much for that. Until she actually was killed off, and then I was crying my eyes out. I think the shock of it, because I didn't expect she was going to be killed. It was also very interesting when they verged into a more artistic way of directing the episodes, so that one episode with Tyrese's death scene, it all just felt very psychedelic, very different in terms of how they normally do death scenes. And one of my favourite aspects of Season 5 was Rick. At the end he did these 2 extremely epic speeches, which I could rewatch every time. Bear McCreary, incredible music every season, but for me Season 5 was... he does some amazing music. I may actually react to the 2 speeches Rick did in Season 5. They are in episode 15 and 16. They just give me goosebumps every time. Okay guys, that is it. If you want to let me know what your favourite seasons are, ranked from worst to best, just leave it in the comments below. I'm more than 100% sure that I've missed out loads of aspects of all the seasons, so I'm sorry that I didn't manage to cover everything, but I'm 100% sure that these are the ranks currently from worst to best, for me at least. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!